السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Assalamu alaikum, welcome to the Masjid Carpark.
Are we recording?
Yeah.
We started?
Already recording.
When?
When?
Time back, bro.
Huh?
Time back, bro.
When you used up the download, the memory. Let's just start.
Okay, episode 26.
26.
Assalamu alaikum, welcome to the Masjid Carpark podcast, episode 26.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, so we were discussing before that we had another.
No, wait.
What's that? Start again. Are we ready now? Is it recording? Are you sure?
It's red.
There's a red light there. It says record. REC. And the audio is recording as well. All right.
Now audio is recording. Assalamu alaikum, welcome to the Masjid Carpark podcast, episode 26.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning.
Good
It's
month.
been a long
Happy
time.
July.
Bro, I'm
It's
telling you, we got evil-eyed.
We got Nazar. Yeah, we got Nazar hard.
Either that or we can blame it on that or lockdown and slackness.
Lockdown was there. We're recording the lockdown and we're trying to recover from the lockdown. Some ayn, some Nazar has been done to us. Nobody see now. Even tonight, Lata bailed out because he's sick.
He's sick.
And that's a weird thing, like coordinating 3 people. It's bizarrely like
I had to drive just before this. I left my house at 4 o'clock to go to Alinda to get a diff for a mate
okay.
from Adelaide. He called this mate of mine. He called me up random. This was a couple of weeks ago, and he bought a diff for his ute. So Adelaide, Mr. Bogan. So for his, I think he's got a Holden ute, and it's a bit old, so it's hard to get. So he found one. He's like, "Can you go pick it up?" I go, "Yeah, that's fine." I went out, drove out there. The place is still recovering from the storms they had with all the trees down. You can just see massive trees on the side of the road that have just been chainsawed. On the way back, 40 k's an hour on Monash. Just as I'm driving, 100 drops to 90. I'm watching the sign change from 100 to 90.
An accident?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Why did the sign change?
I don't know. Marge was with me, right? Then it goes down to 60, then 40. Then I'm like, stuff this, Turak Road. Then we're taking the back ways. I took a wrong turn because there was a detour. And next minute, we're ending up late. So I don't know if you can call it ain or really bad directions on my part or what it is. But ain makes you feel better about yourself, doesn't it? Like we're some super popular podcast. Ain. Like we're some super special podcast. Right. But how you been anyway, apart from that?
Not good. Just been
Not good. Right. Tell us how about you lie to us?
No. It's been a bit of a hectic last few weeks. Everything sort of. It's post lockdown.
Tell me about your childhood.
Nah.
Do you need a shoulder to cry on?
No.
Here's my shoulder.
Nothing like that. But it's just been. Oh, well, yesterday was good. Yesterday and today was a very good day. Alhamdulillah. Italy won. Euro,
right,
and nothing like English cheers. And McGregor lost. That's another. It was like a double
He
bonus.
didn't lose. He got slaughtered.
that
That leg, you wouldn't wish that on anyone.
Yeah, and he was talking nonsense afterwards. But it was.
He's got a very high pain threshold.
Other than that, the messages that were ruthless on Reddit. Someone's, his alcohol brand, proper 12,
Yeah.
or proper 10 or whatever it is. Someone said proper 2%, like 2% milk, like a
whiskey.
They said better replace milk with a whiskey with milk, But we're having weak bones. But no, it was a short fight, but with.
I didn't watch it.
What's that?
I didn't watch the fight.
Yeah, I mean, it's can't avoid it. It's like if
Yeah.
you watch the news, it'll come up. But anyway, that was other than that, it was pretty. I've been studying a lot, so that's just taking a lot of time. So advanced Sharia studies, so that's taking a lot of time, a lot of research.
Inshallah. If you need a hand, just give me a call.
Yeah, all right.
If you need to be guided in the right direction.
It's actually enjoyable.
You chose to ignore that comment.
It's actually an enjoyable process. The whole. I think I
Alhamdulillah.
mentioned it before as well, but you mentioned this to me, and I'm becoming serious.
You're becoming very serious, though.
Yeah, I think
Right?
the
You're
nature
almost
of
getting to my level.
the nature of the training is just being I can't. I don't. I notice it as well. You know, like
But do you know what the do you know
all
what
your
the funny part
priorities,
is?
all your priorities get arranged.
There's a lot of people listening right now.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that have just gone, oh my God, he's going to get more serious. You know that.
Yeah.
You know that's
Yeah,
gonna
from my
happen.
local mosque, they're
Yeah.
gonna.
Everyone's
Yeah.
doing istighfar and praying salat right now.
Yeah. And
Oh,
if
love
I
a
do
good
make a
joke.
joke, it gets offensive. But anyway, that's
Yeah.
one guy got offended in Jummah, you know, after Jummah.
Doesn't everybody get offended in your
No,
Jummahs?
no. He was I made a joke. I said it was about the Hilal sighting. It's a joke, like, but I just
Oh,
checked
here
it.
we go.
And the locals are used to because I've grown up in that. That's my whole life. I've been in that mosque, and so I said those who follow the Hilal sighting, they'll wait till Sunday to do the sighting. Those who follow the, the Imam's councils or whatever, they'll wait for bin Salman to make an announcement, and then they'll. I was just being smart, you know. But it was a joke. Like usually around the topic of Hilal, because I usually joke around it just to diffuse it a little bit, to make it a bit lighthearted. So it's a little bit.
Yeah, how did someone get cut with that? Oh, I suppose.
No, he's a
if you're-
Saudi. I think he was a Saudi. I think it was a Saudi, and he said he came afterwards. Do you think it's right you talk about your politics in the khutbah? I said I wasn't. I said I was just joking.
Yeah.
You know, and he said, "Yeah, but do you reckon that's appropriate?" I said, "I'm sorry, like, but it was a joke." But anyway, so anyway,
which is fair. I mean, if that's something close to his heart.
if you're more offended. Because if you're following
Oh,
it,
please,
if you're
let us
following
not
the
go
imams,
there right
if you're
now.
following the imams council and you more
here we
and
go.
you're more offended because of bin Salman, then you're offended for me insulting you because you're following the imams council. Like you should be more offended by you following the imams council, because that's what I probably can be misconstrued as insult for that. But you're more insulted because I insulted your crown prince, who is, you know, of course, you know, we don't need to explain who he is, but you know, like it's funny how they police you even here. Like the people from those countries, they police you. I mean, probably he's.
I'm trying to keep a poker face and just like go, yep, whatever,
Yeah.
yep, but it's just not working. 'Cause
Yeah.
You just keep going.
Yeah. No, I said sorry to the brother, and I said, but I think what I'm saying is that they think that they're back home.
It's still
So
going.
no, I'm explaining to you that.
but you're still
I
going.
know, but what are you worried about?
Look at the yellow car.
What are you worried about? Like it's what if they are the idea
Yeah,
that.
but we don't know what sort of background, environment, situation people are coming from.
Yeah, because these are the people who are beneficiaries of being affiliated
we
with the
don't have
state
to-
because
we
they're getting
don't know if
grants
they're-
to study overseas. Probably that's probably what's
No,
happening.
not apart from that. I
Yeah.
think there's a lot more nuances in there that we need to.
I
we're not considering.
Actually, he might not even be Saudi. So
That's what
I
I'm
don't-
saying.
I don't
that
even
that
know.
we're
like,
not considering. You're just dropping these
yeah.
fat ones right now.
Anyway, people don't like my jokes.
Most people don't like your jokes.
Anyway.
But you're a very funny man.
Huh? Not really, but yeah. So I'm. It is.
What about it is making you more serious?
I think.
Is it because you're interacting?
Well, I went through 1 week of like, do I even want to do this? Because they scared the hell out of you, in terms of like you got to answer this on the day of judgment. If you give a religious
Subhanallah.
verdict,
Good.
like that's part of the training. Is like they scare you, like you're signing on behalf of Allah when you sign a fatwa. Because if you're speaking about religious matters, you're signing that said this is Islam according to what Allah has intended and His Prophet has intended.
Okay, that's heavy.
Exactly. There's 1 week of that cry. So like, yeah. So I think that made me sick. So I was actually about to quit when I heard that.
Headache.
That when I was like, that made me a bit of shock. Like, do I even want to go through this training and actually do this work? But there's a need for it. And I spoke, like obviously.
Now I know why so many alim say no to weed.
What's a all right, whatever. Anyway, yeah, it's good. Alhamdulillah, it's good. The training is good, and I'm learning, and it's an accumulative process. But there's some brilliant ulama.
Look,
in our group, there's some brilliant ulama, and I'm really enjoying their
MashaAllah.
reading, and some young guys like in their 20s, but they're real sharp, and the discussions are enjoyable
Look,
as well.
it's highly stressful. By the sounds of it, it's highly stressful, and it sounds like they're actually.
I think I'm the only one that makes jokes with the teachers. I think I'm
God.
older
Can
than
you
most of the.
imagine a room full of this bloke, but he's the funniest in a room full of people, and he's the funniest in the room. Want to be part of that one?
Yeah,
No, but
it's
you
a real riot in there.
I'm sure it is. Maybe I can join for a lesson.
Yeah,
Right. No, but the thing is, if you've got someone giving fatwas, if they're making rulings for Islam, you wouldn't want it any other way.
Yeah, of
you
course.
do need that from the fatwa side of things. One is being
you cannot answer off the
being
cuff.
approachable by people.
You can't answer just on the go. Like there's no
Yeah.
such thing like that. Like there's certain things that are well known. How you, like
Make wudu before you pray.
yeah, exactly. You can't pray without. Let's say, for example, you can't pray unless you got wudu,
See that?
right? That's
See that? You heard it here.
Yeah, this is
From me.
Yeah, so it's as an example, right? A simple masala that even anybody would know. You know, a primary school child would know. You know, a grade 1 child would know. But then there's certain things, specific case, unique, some unique situation. Then you'll have to like research it and make sure you know.
You know what? That topic about this is something interesting. And again, we're not going into fatwas about can you read Quran on a mobile phone. We were just discussing it. Give us a 2-minute synopsis on it. It's very interesting, and I know listeners will be interested.
So I mean, like, so the first fatwas or first question.
And did you get your first fatwa that you wrote correct?
So I just before this podcast telling the ones that I got wrong. So my first two were
the ones I got
consider
wrong,
them wrong. I wouldn't consider them wrong.
Here we go. Backtracking.
But so the first few that we've written, like
You got wrong.
Which were not 100%, which I still have to yet justify my answer. But
So they were wrong.
yeah. So, but as we know, you can't touch a Quran. You can't hold the Quran without wudu. You can't touch ayat al-Quran on a piece of paper or on a, like if it's inside a book, ayat al-Quran written. If you don't have wudu, you can't touch it.
Yep.
Right. Then in fatwa books, like
What about in a kitab? So if you've got a book like,
if you have a
reading a
religious,
hadith
if you have a religious book, let's say it's got ayat al-Quran, you can hold the book without wudu. It's
Okay.
recommended always to hold books, religious books is mustahab. It's rewarded that if it's considered part of manners. It's not compulsory, but even any religious literature should be held in touch with wudu, because it is an extension of the revelation, what is in the Quran, because it explains and so forth.
but it's not compulsory.
It's not compulsory. Okay. So based on that, my argument was that mobile phones, Qurans, and
Which you got wrong.
Well, it's not. There's a.
I'm just having fun
It
with
goes
this.
either way. There's ulama split on this, but I like what the teacher did. What he did was he questioned my assumption. So for example, some of my justification was that the Quran is actually not. Firstly, the ayat is not there. It's a projection on the screen. Number two is that there's a glass between you and the actual screen. The glass that is on the phone, there's actually that's not actually what the projection is on. It's actually the screen. There's a screen behind it, and then the glass on top, gorilla glass or whatever they call it.
The screen projector.
No. This has got nothing to do with screen projector. That's separate. The actual glass, that's not the screen. The screen is behind that.
Okay.
So the glass is in front. That's put on top. There's actually a separate screen.
Is there?
Yeah. So, but the teacher, the way he explained, he said, look, but as soon as something becomes part of it, it's like it's touching it. It's like considered like as one thing. Then you treat it the same. Like it's not a separate. Like if you get a page of the Quran, you laminate it, you still can't touch it, the verses without wudu, right? So it's sort of that idea because it's become part of it now, right? So anyway, so that argument of mine was can be knocked down. The idea of it being projected on the screen and it's not there, physically there. There's nothing actually physically there. But he said for the moment that it's rejected, he showed me his phone. He said, "Look, isn't it there? What I'm like the image? Isn't this image here? It exists because you're looking at it, right? So then it's there. So for our purposes, for that point, it's there. So then they considered. So
you need to have wudu if you're going to click on the Quran app and read some Quran.
Well, from what I can understand is, I'm not saying this is not a fatwa or anything like that. It's not conclusive.
But you're going to
on my
say it
side,
anyway.
but no. That my understanding was that you need to have wudu to touch the ayat on the screen.
Okay.
Right. There was an issue of holding the phone as well, but if usually most phones have a cover. Like that, so it's like a separate thing that you're holding. So then that comes into play as well. But anyway, it's not. We're still working on that.
If anyone's interested in this one, delve further and ask your local scholar.
Yeah. So
I'm busy next week, so.
But anyway, it was just the process has started now, developing and researching. Then you look into classic books and you go through the framework of a school. All right, a specific madhab, and you go through the structure of that madhab, and they have principles, and make sure that you apply different principles and maxims and things. So there's a lot of there are like 10 references we have to go to, like 2 or 3 of 10. So they're like encyclopedic works. So there's like core ones, and then there's like extra ones. And then there's other modern literature and encyclopedias you go to get extra information.
Mashallah.
Yeah.
All right,
So-
interesting. I just wanted to discuss that whole fatwa. It's quite interesting because there's a lot of technology.
yeah.
There's a lot of new things coming out that have never been around before. So
I think that's reduced probably now. Like it's
do you?
especially in the 20th
It'll be
century-
interesting when
in the 20th
artificial
and early-
intelligence comes into it. Robots doing your work. You know, a lot of interesting. I think
What
fatwas.
do you
We're
mean?
not going there, right?
Well, like, can you pray Jamaat with your robot?
Well, there you
got
go.
you got three,
You got like three
robots.
robots,
Yeah, make a stuff.
and yeah, if they're male,
You have one
yeah,
female robot standing behind the male. So
Can
the maid robot.
if
and
you don't know how to read Quran, can your robot read Salat?
follow the robot in Salat.
Yeah, because his Qiraat is perfect.
So like, yeah, all right, please read like Sudais.
Yeah, for this
No,
one,
you can't. I've heard this from an alim that human being will never be able to create a machine that can do ibadah.
Subhanallah.
And that's like 20, 30 years ago I heard that they'll never be able to come up with a machine.
Well, they can do ibadah with ikhlas. They can go through the physical actions of ibadah.
Yeah, but that's not ibadah. Ibadah is
No,
not the...
that's right. Ibadah
yeah.
comes from the heart. So that's linked to the soul. A robot
Yeah.
does not have a soul.
Correct. It's like a toaster, complicated toaster. Even AI doesn't mean it's got...
I'm just trying to imagine this.
and AI is not, doesn't make... they call it artificial intelligence, but really it's what we're talking about is consciousness and becoming sentient, right? That's
And
not,
they're working on
and
trying
AI is
to-
not that.
But they're trying to make it.
I know,
that.
but there's a big leap between those two.
Which is the soul.
So this is a more complicated toaster. Like that's AI at the moment.
I
is
just
a-
say, imagine you standing in Salat with like 20 toasters behind you. I don't know why I got that image. All right, guys, Isha in Jamaat. These musallis will never be late.
yeah. Did you see that video of that Chinese lady? I think.
Which
Like,
one?
the son bought her a toaster,
No.
but the way she made the toast on it, instead of putting it inside of it, she put it across, like on top.
Yeah.
So there's like a 2 strips of like burnt. She thought that's how the toaster worked. Anyway, off the topic.
That was
Sydney
hilarious.
Sydney outbreak.
Sydney
New
outbreak.
South Wales, the border's closed.
Everything closed. with
ACT
Sydney.
and New South Wales border has been closed.
Yeah, borders closed with everyone with New South
Yeah,
Wales and
and they've
ACT.
gone into full lockdown.
Yeah.
Did they have a lockdown?
No, the thing is, at the start, they didn't. Look, there's different schools of thoughts on this, but some health experts are saying that they were too delayed in going into lockdown.
No, I'm talking about did they have a lockdown last year when
No.
we had one?
No, they were laughing at us.
Oh, was it?
They were saying that we were too full on. Remember, ScoMo was saying it. We were too full on.
Oh, really?
But,
okay.
you know, in not in those words,
Yeah, they were.
but hinting at the fact that Sydney's the best. They're doing it the best way.
Yeah.
The way Sydney's doing it, you know, it'll still be safe.
And they've got the
nothing will
Delta
go wrong.
variant, isn't it? Which is like the most contagious version. Of
There's
the,
a teenager in ICU. Like today,
but there's
they had
only one
100
person's died this year from the virus. There's and she was 90 years old as well.
There's teenager in ICU. There's some young ones in there. Yesterday was 77 cases. Today's 112. Day before was 50. So
Oh, it
they're
sounds
increasing,
familiar.
and they think it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. There's a lot of police in southwestern Sydney, basically where all the ethnics live, policing it.
Where?
But southwestern Sydney.
Southwest. Okay.
Yeah, and you know the northern beaches like Bondi. When this is one thing I agree with. People are complaining when the outbreak happened there. How come there weren't 100 extra policemen on the street? Because they were just as freestyle. We saw images of Bondi Beach where with hundreds of people just sunbathing.
Yeah.
So that's another political thing that you know we don't want to delve too much into that. But Sydney is in extreme lockdown, and it's the scary variant. Victoria's all right. Like for example, this morning, you know the whole Italy versus the UK thing, England. The soccer match, the Melbourne City Council didn't put up a massive screen in Lygon Street because they wouldn't have been able to make it COVID safe. So people bought their own projectors and they had their own speakers, and the only thing they got told off for was turning the volume down. So it wasn't even about social distancing, which is a good place to be
Yeah.
compared to where other parts of the world and other parts of this country are. It's a good place to be. I think it's just one of those things. We got to write it out.
Yeah. SubhanAllah.
But the Delta variant is much scarier.
You plan to get the
existence.
vaccine?
Well, I have to.
I've been hearing that
it's
for a
not
month.
It's
now.
not an option. Yeah,
Like,
but
this job is not really.
no, it's not that because everything has been on Zoom.
Oh, okay.
So apart from that, I think I'd go the Pfizer anyway. Me personally.
Yeah.
I mean, that ad just sold me, the Australian ad.
Yeah, that was a.
What a scary ad! You look
Yeah.
at the ads
So
from all over.
all the ads from around the world are like.
Very positive.
Yeah,
We're coming out of lockdown.
Yeah, we're going to
party
sporting
time.
events and this and that. And Australia one's a lady can't breathe, you know.
Yeah, I think.
And it was specifically to do with for Sydney, because people are too
They're not
complacent. They want it. You know what they said, that the ads are not about accuracy; they're about motivation.
That's why
Right.
ads all
Yeah.
advertising
It's
is
not about-
purely about
It's not
getting
about
an
reality.
emotional reaction.
It's not about reality. It's about emotion. Yeah, exactly.
but
to motivate people
That's
to go and get
correct.
the vaccine.
But the problem is, I think, like, you know, all over the world, yes, there are skeptics when it comes to COVID and things like that. But Australia's, I think, basically on steroids when it comes to this, because this is something I've been thinking about. Is it because we just don't trust our politicians? We don't actually trust anything they're saying.
Yeah, and
Right.
also I think a lot of that we've lost trust as well. Yeah, we don't trust them.
That's what it is. So
Yeah.
you're telling me something, so
And-
I
and-
can't trust
and-
you because
and-
this is
and
something.
in
I
this
don't-
situation, nobody's sort of 100%. Even the experts sort of don't know what to
right,
do.
our prime minister, and he's done some good things as well.
Yeah,
But comes out first. There's this thing about, you know, over 50s or 60s, you get the vaccine, and then all of a sudden it was like, all right, for over 40s as well, if you want it at your own risk. What a way to sell it,
yeah,
right? You can you can have the jab if you want, but it is at your risk. But
Yeah.
you know the risk is very small,
yeah.
or whatever it was along those
It's a
lines.
weird thing, because if over 60s have less risk, and you know, you think it's the other way around. The
Yeah.
younger people are healthier, and then yeah,
I
that
don't know.
doesn't
I
make sense.
think
Like, what's the
think,
reason? I should check that.
I have no idea.
Yeah, because you know we are in our 40s, so we should be
27, brother. 20s, right here. 20s, right here.
Yeah,
Midlife crisis happening right now.
maturity level maybe.
No, that's 15. But
Yeah.
what do you do? And then, you know, coupled that with just recently we had the whole thing about the virus coming out of Wuhan, so that it came out of a lab. Then you've got all
That's
that.
been rejected now. Look, as of
But I don't think it has.
no, again, there's some scientists came out and they've rejected that whole idea of
I haven't read that.
Okay, no, I read it was something recent, like yesterday or something. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, that is. They rejected that view. It was on the news somewhere.
Well, it hasn't
Sure,
been made
yesterday,
very popular
today,
because when they were
yesterday.
talking about it came out of a lab, it was all over the place.
That was a few weeks ago.
Yeah, but that's what I'm
And
saying.
talking
It was
about
it was front
yesterday,
page everywhere. So why isn't this front page?
No, but I don't think.
Because the other one sells more papers.
Which one?
Came out of a lab.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So this was like a scientist talking, and you know, probably not. Yeah, it has to fit into a bigger narrative, I guess.
Mm.
Yeah. Anyway,
I don't know. Afghanistan is
they emptied out.
Bagram Air Base. They
Just
actually,
so like I was.
they switched. The funny part is, they've left. They switched the lights off. Who's paying the electricity bill?
They
Right.
took everything.
Yeah. Even if you they didn't take. They left most of the stuff.
No, they took everything. They destroyed a lot of stuff.
Yeah. They left
They-
weapons. The weapons they left behind. They didn't leave any ammunition. But
Yeah.
if there were weapons that were good, they destroyed the weapons.
Yes.
They left all the vehicles, but they left no keys. But it's Afghanistan. Someone's going to work out a hot wire that thing in a split
The
second.
locals in Bagram, I was watching the news thing of the interviewing the locals, because we're very happy they're gone, and hopefully we can get some peace in the country. So
Really?
yeah. They were shocked actually, and that was the guy who went and raided the base and got American
That's
boots.
why he's happy they're gone.
He got all the like American boots, soldier like.
Now he's gonna sell them.
Yeah, he's got a bucket and he's washing, cleaning them, the mud off it, and he's
Oh,
polishing
yeah.
it, and he's got like a store full of American boots, like soldier boots, and he's.
Yeah, there was
so he's-
guys that did. There was a lot of raiding, and then the army found out 2 hours
He's,
later.
sell,
and that's
he's,
when they
he's
went
selling them for like a 700 Afghani, something I can't remember, like their local currency. But he said, I'm happy that they're gone. He goes, but I hope that we have peace. You know?
But on the flip side, there's a lot of people that are worried because of they're gone as well.
Yeah, because the Taliban are on the march, and
Yeah.
they're like 80% of the country apparently.
So there's a lot of people that are worried as well.
It's
So
going to
there's-
be. I mean, they probably are the Taliban probably setting themselves up to be a strong negotiating position. I think long term, I think they put their condition down. They want Sharia to be established in the country, but I think they are there for the long term as a force in the country. I think the reality is that they call the
they've been
president
there
of the
20
country the mayor of Kabul. You know, Like they don't consider him to be like a power in the country. He's like a puppet. Let's see when the Americans.
But do they have elections all over Afghanistan?
Yeah,
Realistically, like, no,
but
not
I think
yes.
like 40%.
Not well, yes, we've
Look,
got
I'm not
elections.
Afghani. You
and
got to ask an Afghani about all the details, but like I think there's like 40% turnout, 50% turnout. I think a lot of people just don't turn out. I think the way it works is different. Even in Pakistan, like the way elections are, especially in like village and agrarian areas, although there are parties, but there's like a local landlord. He's usually the guy that
you got to vote for him. Yeah,
it's not a normal democracy like the way
Yeah.
you're probably used to in Australia. They're basically like, this is the landlord, and then the seat is inherited by his son or nephew,
Yep.
and the seat is in like in a certain clan or a family, So
very tribal.
yeah, exactly. So it's not. and
That would be more northern.
But a
Pakistan.
lot of the
That wouldn't be
Muslim
the
world is like that. Like most Muslim world is like that.
same.
Yeah, they're very tribal and ethnic.
It is.
Along
It is.
ethnic lines. It's very rare that they don't.
I just found the whole base thing funny that you've spent billions of dollars now just leaving it all.
yeah, it's
This is the
huge.
thing.
It's a concrete.
It's the size of
You
a
know-
city. They've
just
got roads.
yeah.
It's got the longest runway.
Do you know what they
in
had in
Asia.
there? They had a Harley Davidson store.
Nah,
yeah, yeah. Inside the
a
base.
store.
They had McDonald's. They had everything there.
A store. So
Yeah,
people
this
went
was
in
the
and bought
main
Harleys.
operational base of the Americans in Afghanistan. Like,
Yeah, but I don't know. My brain can't compute that.
yeah, I know. When I heard of it, what? Like, how can they have a Harley Davidson store?
Why would you buy?
Because they live there. They live there. Like, there's like a whole.
Well, I
little
know
city.
there's roads and it was a mini city.
Yeah, exactly. So
Roads and a massive runway, proper paved runway, all of that stuff.
yeah,
Imagine the contractor that got that job. They're loving it.
yeah.
Was
yeah.
it $2 trillion or $3 trillion or something like that?
They in the whole operation 20 years.
Yeah.
Bloody hell, that's a lot.
That would have eradicated hunger or homelessness in the US.
Yeah, but they got to test out all their weapons. They handed over to the Afghani army. I think it took 3,000 soldiers or something. Like just to, like, that's how big the complex is. They had to send in 3,000 soldiers to, like, hold the base. Like that's
Yeah.
how. Like it is like a little
It's a
city.
city.
Yeah,
Generators, the works.
Yeah.
And literally the last
they
guy
took
switched off the electricity.
and then they took the last. There was some aerial, what was it? Some aerial support equipment or something. I can't remember something else. They took everything, like all the critical pieces. They took.
Of course, they're not
yeah.
going to leave that. Why would you
Because
leave it?
for them to take everything, like it'd be more expensive logistically
Probably.
to transport, organize a
How
plane.
many
So
planes would you need for like
all the
300
Humvees
Hummers?
and yeah, exactly. Better just stuff it. Just leave it.
Still, what a waste of money, man.
Yeah,
Loss of life, waste of money.
but that's the
Quite
world that
depressing.
we live in today. It's like you got
Yeah, but
all these billionaires going to space. You saw
Richard Branson.
He went today this morning.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
That was
Well, he went to the edge. I think it was a test flight.
the
wasn't
edge of space. So it was basically you come
Yeah.
out of the atmosphere and you're in the darkness of space.
it? I don't think
And
it's
you
the
can
darkness.
see-
I don't
it
think
is,
it's.
it is, it is.
I think it's just the edge. You see the curvature of the Earth.
Nah, it's above that.
Are you sure?
But yeah. But it's not like in them where the space station is.
No. I
It's
don't think.
above it.
I think it's the technical.
No, it's the
Tec-
technical.
Technically, you see the curvature of the Earth. I don't think it's actually.
No, it's more than that.
It's actually not space. Yeah, this is a test flight.
No,
It wasn't
it was
actually.
more than that.
It was a
more
test
than
flight. Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, but you got all
alhamdulillah.
these idiot billionaires wasting money on this. Like now, Bezos going next month, and like
But we
this
don't
tourism,
know.
like
We can't,
tourism.
you can't call it a waste of money because
a waste
every
of
bit of
money.
technology that comes across assists in the space race.
Here we go again.
All right, let's not go
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
All
Yeah,
I'm saying
while
is,
we got like, it just shows you how disconnected they are with
well, that's correct.
the average person
I don't
and the
disagree
needs,
with that.
the plight
Yeah.
of humanity, and
Look, I don't disagree with that.
yeah,
Like some of this stuff can
talking about
eradicate.
trillions being wasted by American army.
Eradicate. Well, that for me, I disagree with because that's
Yeah.
killing and that could reduce a lot. But even space is important. It's the final frontier.
Oh god, there you
These are the voyages. These are the voyages.
Yeah,
Star Trek, Voyager.
go. Yes,
Space, the final frontier.
Yes,
See, I could be a voiceover for Star Trek if anyone's decided
it's called
to listen.
space for it. Just empty space. There's nothing there. You know?
Bro.
But, all right,
It's not empty.
try fixing all the problems here first.
Straight. Oh, mate, I got the solution for the Australian housing bubble.
What's
I
that?
heard it today. I think my son sent it to me. It was a video about the Australian. It's a comedian. It's like housing bubble.
Oh, okay, yeah, I
He
saw
goes,
that.
what? Oh no, that was Lata sent it to
You
us.
build a mosque.
Yeah, build a
lowering the-
mosque on every corner. Just build a masjid on every corner. Prices drop.
Yes,
Turak, here we come.
they won't let you build a mosque there.
Right, but do you
There
think?
used to be one in Paran. Now,
I think there still is.
no, they sold that one and they moved it to Union Street, I think, St Kilda's.
Okay.
Is it St Kilda? Union Street? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I remember there's something. I don't think the original one is where it is.
Okay.
I think that was the one that had I'm sure it had the Mustafa Kemal picture in there. The
Interesting.
Turkish mosque. So it was but they had like a pool room, whatever, and Mustafa Kemal in the mosque.
Yeah,
It was strange.
in the front.
Not in the front, stuff.
Oh,
Like
okay.
there was a room there, and they had a Mustafa Kemal's portrait in there, which was kind of strange. For a mosque, that was kind of strange.
Don't you have a Mustafa Kemal portrait hanging around your neck?
Yeah, yeah, it's in my wallet. The picture. Of it. Yeah,
You look at it before you can sleep.
it was strange.
I've become too serious. Let me look at this face.
Yeah, I think someone went from Europe to Turkey, and he said that how come you guys got statues of this guy everywhere? You know, like even they saw
it's the ethnic thing.
what
Having the pic, like, have you been
bronze
to
statues?
No, not just bronze statues, or having the pictures of your fearless leader
Yeah,
sitting behind every desk, in every hallway, in every major building, in every hotel.
it's weird.
Think about it. If you think about, I remember going to Saudi,
Yeah,
or if you look at many of the Middle Eastern
hotels
countries,
have it as well.
hotels, and if you even look,
They'll
at
have the king, the previous king, and
yeah,
the
and
crown
current-
prince, the king,
yes.
and the previous,
Even to
the
a certain
founding
extent,
father.
Southeast Asia, their photos are everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. I think it's just one of those things. Like
Do you reckon Europeans had that?
We got the Queen. We used to have it.
We just have
next
her in every
level.
coin.
No, the Queen's on every coin. The Queen is in
On the $5.
every military installation, in every military base.
Or maybe like the old school, like
Right, in
maybe
Parliament.
we're following like the 50s and 40s European sort
Yeah,
of
that's what it
norms.
is. That's what it is. So you do have a picture of the Queen
Like we'll make fun of people. If somebody had a queen,
in the house.
that'll be funny.
Depends who.
To us.
No,
it'll be-
depends who.
It's like an old lady. She'll probably like love the queen.
Yeah,
and-
but even if you have a look at all the town halls, they've all got pictures of the Queen. Every scout hall's got a picture of the Queen.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, police stations have got
Oh,
pictures
okay.
of the Queen. She's the monarch.
Oh, police stations have it. as
Yeah,
well?
police stations have got it
Of
as
the
well.
Queen.
It's interesting, right? So
Right.
because these are monarchs, I don't know if every police station does. I haven't been
Okay.
into many police
Yeah,
stations.
she's head of the
alhamdulillah.
state, I guess. I mean,
Yeah, she's the head of the
above-
state.
Yeah, she can sack the prime minister. So
That's right.
yeah,
So you have that, and you
But
have the coat of arms.
I don't think we put it there
No, we don't put it there out of respect. There's a few guys
because
that have
some of
just
those hotels. I remember one of the Middle Eastern countries, like their hotel lobby has.
yeah, bro.
It's massive. Like it's like it's one
It's
wall.
the lobby.
Yeah. It's behind the counter. The
And
guy.
then even as you're driving on the streets, you'll see the signs up everywhere. India's like that,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Prime
like
Minister, he's
they-
everywhere,
They
mate.
worship the
The
politicians.
local politicians are everywhere. Either that or just scared of them, so they want to make sure they're up there.
Wow.
I think in the West it happens more in terms of whether you want to call it respect or whether you want to call it let's just not forget she's there, right?
Yeah, but Australians, I don't think really think
they don't
about
give
the
a shit.
Queen, huh?
I don't think many Aussies care anymore.
Yeah.
It's something so aloof, so far removed from our daily life. Do we
Yeah.
actually care that much?
The royalists and old people probably like it because it reminds them of a past where,
The White Australia policy.
it reminds them of like, it reminds them of good times.
before these
All these
Asians
brownies,
and these
all these
Muslims,
all these
all these Muslims came and
all
took
these
over and,
darkies
and
came.
built a mosque in every corner, and
They
the
wrecked everything.
prices of our houses went down. Have you been to Epping lately? There's a mosque there, mate. Have you seen the prices? Wherever
Yeah.
a masjid goes up, prices are going up.
No, just it's maybe they like I think everybody remembers. I don't think remembered old people who don't look at their childhood and youth with fondness. Right, they remember the past as always like.
I remember the past with fondness.
I think we're getting old. That's why.
You're getting old. I'm talking about like when I was 20,
when
like,
I was a little boy in 1980s. That's what we're becoming. So I think
Do you realize 1980? You just said the 1980 was 42 years ago.
yeah
41 years ago.
yeah.
Not like
I met you 20 years ago. 20 years ago, yeah.
I've put up with you for that long.
20 years ago. That's exactly when I met you. Is it?
Yeah, it is this
Yeah,
year.
20 years ago.
House party, Malak Khalid's house. Guys,
Yeah.
BYO.
20 years ago. That's
Bring your own brisket as
just
well,
think about
according
that.
to the way
2
things are
decades,
going.
and another 2 decades of that will be 60.
You'll be 60. I refuse. I refuse to grow old.
You need to go.
My body is telling me otherwise, but I refuse to grow old.
I'll search up Beyond Blue, the
Oh,
hotline.
don't make a joke about that. That's not funny. That's wrong.
Call Jeff Kennett.
No, I don't even know. No, I'm not even going to try and salvage that one. But that's how quick time's going.
Yes, subhanAllah.
Like, it's time for the kids
You know
to
what?
get married.
I wanted to tell you something. I'm
Here we
looking
go.
at things now in 7 year cycle. 7 years.
I'm still day by day.
There's a narration I heard somewhere that first 7 years play with your kids, next 7 years teach them, next 7 years be their friend. Like
Keep
play,
going.
like play,
Keep
like
going.
let them
Keep
play,
going.
let them play, let them
Keep
play,
going.
and then teach them, educate them, and
That's
then
right, keep
like
going.
don't be trying to, you know. And the next 7 years, be their friend, right?
Yeah.
Be their friend. But then I was thinking that actually the 7 year cycles, like, or seven, not cycle, but 7 year terms,
Yep.
right? There's something to be said about, like, even in the Quran, it's there about Yusuf alayhi salam,
Yusuf alayhi
the
salam.
7 years. And even now they found out that the whole world actually is there's a 7 year cycle. La Nina,
Really?
El Nino. It's
Yeah.
actually 7 years of drought.
But what's your point? I've heard 7 years about 20 times now.
No, I was just thinking about it. I said,
Yeah, I
like,
heard that as well.
even now when I'm doing planning for like my studies and all these sort of things, I'm planning for the next 7 years.
That's because you're doing an alim course, bro. You
No,
teach an
but
alim course.
it's not like I went through a phase of like I've been teaching for 7 years.
Yep.
Adim course, like took students from the first year to
Yep.
the final year, roughly about 7 years. Has been teaching like that. But I'm thinking now, like what do I need to achieve in the next 7 years? You know, like now I've done that because that'll continue.
Mobility.
Huh?
Mobility.
Yeah, no, but like there's certain like 7 year cycle, like 7 year sort of
Subhanallah.
terms you look at it
Interesting.
in terms of achievements and changes. Because, like you said before, I was becoming serious, but I think there's a change that happens. Like there's shifts. You don't. What were you doing 7 years ago?
I just saw Irfan twitch when you said, I was just thinking him going on the track of 7 years,
Yeah.
becoming more and more serious every year. No. I'm going to have just a doink.
What?
7 years ago?
Yeah, and the 7 years before that.
7 years ago. No,
So
7 years ago.
So
was
21 years ago, I was at uni.
I didn't want to go for my last 7 years.
So 14 years ago, I was in madrasa. 7 years ago, I started the Madar Adim course, teaching it. Right now, I'm actually started studying again, like more advanced studies, and moving into developing other projects and things related to that. But I estimated that it'll take about to really get a good grip on those sort of things, the education side of it, and also projects stemming from that, community projects, will take probably 7 years.
See, I don't think I've ever looked at mine. My wife will 100% agree with me. I don't have a 7 year cycle. I have a 24-hour cycle.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, on a daily basis, you do what you have to do. But I just saw a pattern
Yeah.
that in my life, okay, there's like these segments, and they're generally.
But are you sure that's the pattern, or you're not being? You are overly analytical. Like you're full on.
No, not really. I just saw.
Not really.
I just saw like sort of like a
Did
segmentation.
you see it because you wanted to see it? Could
Yeah.
you?
But
Could
then-
you have
but then-
divided that into a
But then
3-year
again,
cycle?
like when we're doing things, jobs or studies, we are usually doing them for several years block. If you study uni, at least there's a 3-4 year block that you're doing
yeah,
certain
that's not
things in.
7.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying it could be like, it took me 5 years, but there could be like, like stages, there's definitely stages in our life. So even like we assume that like from the age of 25, when you start working till you're like 60,
You start working at 25.
it's not, no, I started
What the
working, I was a teenager, I started working. But what I'm saying is that from the age of, like after uni and all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff, like 40, 50 years, you're going to be doing, like people in the past did that. They just did one job for 40 years.
We don't have that anymore.
Yeah, but
One
then,
person will have
but
20
then
jobs.
it's possible by the age of 30 you're doing.
I don't think there's anybody today that is expecting to be in the same job, or maybe 1% of people that are expecting the same industry, same job, linear movement for the next 30 years.
Like I read my tweets. There's one group, ulama group,
You tweet.
not tweets. What do you call it? WhatsApp messages from a
Okay,
group.
I was like, since
So I was
when do you
reading them
tweet?
from. I read them and I cringed at what I wrote.
I cringe at what you write every day.
You know what I mean? Like
From how long ago?
yeah. I love the way you hung up on me when I called you. You said I'm on the freeway and I'm going to be late. And it's 40 kilometers an hour, and I told you, like, who told you to go at this time?
Yeah, I know.
We got a recording to do.
You deserve it.
We got a recording to do, like, in 20 minutes.
You deserve for leaving at this time. I'm like, he's an alim. I can't say anything. Mashallah, brother.
I apologize.
But I have been stuck in traffic.
Yeah, what was I saying? My mind slipped tracks.
Yeah, because it's been 7 years since you started thinking that thought.
Yeah. So
you were talking about 7-year cycles.
No, there's something else I just mentioned then.
What a legend I am.
Yeah.
And
like about the cringe message when I was reading the messages, my own messages.
Yeah.
And at the time, and then I was thinking what my mindset was.
How long ago?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Okay.
Yeah, 2 years ago. And I look at, you're such an idiot. Like, why would you say things like that? You know, then I look at, and it's like I'm reading messages of somebody else.
See, mine have pretty much haven't changed. There's been no development.
Yeah, like I was looking at it, I was like, look, you're an idiot. Like, why would you say things like that in that way?
You may be saying that today.
And it's like you're reading somebody else's messages. Like, this is not, yeah, it's that different.
No, mine's not. I haven't gone back.
Like, I've really matured in really. What are you laughing at?
You've either matured or you've just gone rotten now. He's going off.
I'm just off track now.
No,
but it was just. I was reading and said, okay, that could have been a much better thought. That was unnecessary. That's actually what's happening. Is I'm deciding that not to. I don't have to engage in everything. I don't have to tend to everything.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I don't have to engage. You pick your battles.
20 years ago.
There's no time. I don't want to waste time on this person or that person or this thing.
I agree with that 100%.
You don't have to be part of everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there are some people that need to be, not even 20. I think it was in university that I learned that. A friend of mine, a very close friend of mine at that time taught me that.
Yeah.
Through some examples where who gives a proverbial.
Yeah.
Right? If you have no impact on my life, if you're not having any bearing on my life, if I don't value you as a friend, I will be there to help you.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I need to take what you say to heart. You do you, I do me.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, there is something in Islam also to be said. I mean, Husn Islam, this is advice my father gave me when there was some difference of opinion in the community and certain issues. He said, from the perfection of a person in Islam is to leave. It's a hadith of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, considered one of the most important hadiths in Islam. From a perfection of a person's Islam is to leave what doesn't concern him.
Subhanallah.
So if it doesn't concern you, like individually,
yeah, that's right.
It's your perfection is actually to leave it, to not have nothing to do with it. So it's actually made for your deen. Actually,
so
it's
you're
better.
saying I'm perfect.
So to not engage unnecessarily, not to engage unnecessarily.
Like you're not engaging me right
Yeah.
now.
So to not engage unnecessarily.
I'm just having fun with you tonight. I don't know why. I think it was that.
Pick and choose, like
drive.
And I think there's a lot of time wasters. Even like wasting. There's a lot of time wasters. Like WhatsApp the worst. Somehow my numbers on a website somewhere and you know, just to get all these time wasters.
Do you get added to random groups and you've got no idea who they are? And
if
where
anybody
they've
adds
come
me
from?
to a group without permission, then I just leave straight away.
Yeah, same here.
I said you should ask my permission first. So I
get added. I'm always getting added to these I'm like, who are you? I don't even have your number.
I think I've left like 15, 20 groups in the last year and a half.
Yeah, I'm part of.
And then they get upset. They send me private messages. Said why, you know, like
why are you rejecting me?
Yeah, but I'm really not interested. I don't want to know in my feed. There's certain groups now, like I just want to leave because I'm not like it's just there's just nonsense. Just it takes
nonsense for you, not for them.
It's a rent-free space in your brain. You know,
nonsense for you, as I said, but not for them.
Yeah. I mean, there's some groups that are good actually. I benefit from them. There's certain just a lot of hot air and there's not much substance. And that's the thing, like what I'm starting to realize, what I really enjoy is teaching certain things that I teach, which develop my understanding at a deeper level. Like I'm teaching students and like certain hadith books I started teaching. I really enjoy it. And the experience of my teachers is that, look, there are many things you can do if you get your Islamic qualifications and so forth. People work in Islamic finance, people work in social welfare, people work in, these are all good things, right? People work in, they do social media. I mean, we're doing a little bit here on online stuff.
Yeah, but social media means you've got to have heaps of followers, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, like they've curated the whole content for, and they've
I get it.
Prepared. It's a whole work, and it's, you know, all respect to them for doing that. But it's like the core thing for me, and what I realize is like you got to be careful. You can be part of so many associations, jamiyyats, and this ulama group and then so forth. But the real like work is like for me, like this is in my teachers focus is you don't leave your bread and butter, which is teaching students and creating next generation ulama.
Mashallah.
That's like, for me, bread and butter. That's not like something you can live without it.
And that's because you're an alim, you've had the training, and
in our tradition,
you've got to pass that knowledge
in our
on.
tradition, we have that. Like, if you look last 150 years, our teachers, even if they like before they even involved in anything political, like I'm talking about in the subcontinent, especially, even when they're dealing with the British and Gandhi and whatever else they were doing, whoever they're working with. But if you look at the individual, the persons that were involved in it, they had like 20 years of teaching, 40, 50 years of teaching under their belt. Right before that, the revolutionaries, all of them, they were solid alims who had two, at least if I saw, even the younger ones, they had like Monobedla Sindhi and others, like 2 decades of teaching the alim course under their belt.
How many years have you been teaching?
I'm teaching only 7 years.
So another 13 years you're running for Prime Minister.
I'll be a revolutionary.
Vote one, Shaykh Khalid for Prime Minister.
With my spear in the Grampians. And it has to be Australianised a little bit. But there's nothing to revolution against in Australia, is there?
No, absolutely not.
Is there?
We've got it good.
Yeah.
We've got it good. We've got it very good. We don't have much to complain about.
Yeah. So, but like, yeah. So when I look at that, and I see my teachers, the advice they gave to other ulama who worked in Islamic finance or those type of fields, they said, look, it's good you do these things, but don't leave teaching for too long because it's very hard to get back into it. So that educational side of things, it's sort of
But
weird.
isn't that you learn that ilm to be used in these places anyway?
Yeah,
because there's a need for it.
The thing is that
If
this is the catch.
If nobody did it, then it wouldn't be there.
The catch 22 is like you can stay in the madrasa, but you do want your ilm to reflect in the general society as well.
That's right.
And so that's a catch 22. Like, although it's the work in the madrasa is more long term and more rewarding and beneficial and so forth, because what you get out of it in terms of quality and the standard in the individuals they invest in, it's more a focused, individualized effort, and you focus on a very limited amount of students. But then those students become ulama and they teach others, right? As opposed to doing like the public sort of roles.
But isn't the whole point of that knowledge to be utilised for the ummah, to assist the ummah in their deen?
No, the knowledge itself is in itself a ibadah in itself, without anything
I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that. But what about the layperson that can't achieve that knowledge?
That's a separate thing.
They need that guidance. Or
They also
that
need knowledge. But what I'm saying is they also need, but there is something to be said about
You're just
knowledge.
making a case for you just teaching.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Not just me.
That's what
But there's something to be about that work.
Yeah.
It's the reward of that and
Mashallah.
the investment. There's other ulama who've said that is, I worked in Islamic finance, I worked in halal food industry, all this. But I realized that all those sort of things, they're not as rewarding and beneficial as teaching.
The ruhaniyat of the teaching.
Yeah, because there's a very big commercial aspect in those things, and it's not teaching, right?
Yeah.
You're not transmitting the knowledge, because the du'as of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is with
Sallallahu
transmission
alaihi
of knowledge, not with running a halal certification body or a thing. Like, it's actually not. There's specific du'as of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May Allah keep the one who hears a hadith from me, then narrates it to another person. May Allah keep them fresh, or convey from me, even if it's be a phrase. There's a special du'as that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and statements that he made specifically about knowledge and transmission of knowledge and
Inshallah.
preserving knowledge. So because of that, it's got this huge, because that's the backbone of the whole of deen for every organization, jamaat, effort. Without knowledge, they can't do nothing, because like, if you're doing something that is just like
you got to go to the scholars to get the guidance on how to do it.
Exactly.
Just
like
like I said earlier on, make sure you make wudu before salat.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. You learned that from a scholar. Some
That's
scholars,
right. And now I'm transmitting that knowledge.
So
Please take this seriously. I'm transmitting knowledge to you.
So
make sure you make wudu before salat. Okay.
So because that is it's such a huge. So one side, like, you don't want to be just, madrasa is different. Like, in a way, there's a natural need that comes. The needs of the Islamic needs of the community, ulama will come out. In Australia, we're very young. Muslim community is very young. Our own scholars are very young.
Very young.
And we haven't, our ulama are not developed to the point, especially the ones graduated in Australia in various madaris, they're not developed to the point of where they can take, they've not done enough work under their belt, the ones that graduated in Australia, including myself. Like, we haven't done enough to benefit the community that fulfill the needs of the community. And
on a wider scale.
Yeah. So that takes time. You you can't force, like there's no such thing as a leadership course where you can force a person. That's experience in life and just living in.
Well, there is. It's called an election.
Yeah,
He's got to turn up to the meetings.
yeah, I gotta. Yeah. Anyway,
But anyway, sorry.
yeah. So, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
But it's been a long time. Alhamdulillah, we're here.
Yeah, the
make
nazar is
dua.
broken.
The nazar is broken. Here, we've broken. Oh no, that's your favorite.
Allah
card.
break it, because Allah know if it's nazar or not, but it's
Yes.
we're feeling I don't know, every week it was something. And it just dragged on,
Yeah,
dragged
yeah.
on. And we got
Alhamdulillah.
comfortable, and
I think we just got comfortable because the thing is we come at late. It is late. Like it's hard work.
well, you're late. We were early. You were late today.
Huh?
You all came on time. You're 45 minutes
It's from
late,
Allah
wasn't it?
subhanahu wa ta'ala. It was written 50,000 years before the creation of the universe.
Allah Akbar. All right.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, make wudu before you pray. Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, and anything you got to say, leave it in the comment section.
We've been a bit rusty, so apologize.
I think
Apologies.
I thought I was.
Yeah, you're awesome. But
Make wudu before you pray.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.